Hello and welcome to ZTN News Blitz. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Owen Kaura. Let's take a look at our top stories. Zimbabwe launches a COVID-19 inoculation program. Harare City Council owed 5 billion Zimbabwe dollars. Musaka family accepts Jarlov's hero status. And in sport, Zimbabwe football return. Is it possible? We'll give you more. Now, Zimbabwe's Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has become the first recipient of the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine in the country. Dr. Chiwenga received the jab at Wilkins Hospital in Harare as Zimbabwe began the inoculation drive. The Vice President announced that distribution of the jabs across the country will commence on Friday. Zimbabwe has set sights on vaccinating 10 million citizens in order to achieve herd immunity.
Program is going to start rolling out today. The vaccines will go to the provinces starting today and tomorrow. The training program for the provincial staff and districts was done and completed. And over the weekend, we will be doing the lower levels. And the vaccination countrywide will start Monday.
Meanwhile, the nurse who administered the jab to the Vice President was ecstatic. Sister Siboniso Mlilo, who is stationed at Belvedere Clinic, spoke to ZTN.
All right, how are you feeling to have vaccinated the first individual in Zimbabwe?
I'm honored, I'm excited. I don't know how to express what I'm feeling right now.
What was the criteria used by the hospital to have you be the one who vaccinates the Vice President?
I'm not sure. I work at Belvedere Satellite Clinic. So the matron came and said she wanted someone who could come to this event. And I happened to be on duty and she came with me.
Is this your first time assisting people of high stature like the Vice President since your tenure?
Yes, it's my first time to attend to the high-profile people, but I usually vaccinate clients at our clinic, so I'm used to vaccinating. Yes, but the high-profile people, it's my first time today.
Blood banks in Zimbabwe are running low. The National Blood Service of Zimbabwe says that due to the lockdown, they have not been receiving a lot of blood donors, with 70% of the regular donors being high school and tertiary institution students. And BSZ Communications Officer Ephraim Mbai told ZTN that they are only left with 1 day's supply of blood.
The closure of schools and tertiary institutions as part of COVID-19 lockdown measures affected the steady flow of blood the NBAZ used to collect from these panels, because schools and tertiary institutions contribute over 70% of blood in the National Blood Bank. A healthy blood bank is supposed to have a minimum of at least 5 days supply of blood, but currently we have less than a day's supply, which signifies that our stocks are at a critically low level. NBS's daily stock requirements nationally are at 315 units of blood. At the moment, we are not getting enough blood to stock up and build adequate safe supplies according to hospital demand patterns.
Now, at least one person is drowning in Zimbabwe every day as cases of water-related accidents remain high. According to latest data from the Zimbabwe Republic Police, a total of 59 people have drowned countrywide since January this year. 49 of those are male and 10 are female. During the same period last year, 71 cases of drowning were recorded. Last year, 483 people drowned, 72 more than the number recorded in 2019. The highest number of cases were recorded in Mashonaland West Province, where 97 people drowned. Police have attributed the spike in drowning cases to a number of factors, including the use of makeshift boats. Harare City Council is owed over 5 billion Zimbabwe dollars in unpaid bills by residents, government departments, industry and commerce. Residents are council's biggest debtors, owing over 2 billion Zimbabwe dollars, followed by businesses which owe over $1 billion. Now, this comes at a time when the local authority hiked rates by more than 2,000% from January last year. A council spokesperson, Michael Chideme, told ZTN that non-payment of bills was affecting service delivery.
The moment people stop paying, it means service delivery suffers. Service delivery only becomes alive when people are paying their dues to council. The moment people ignore paying their bills to council, it means council has no other ways of getting money to sponsor service delivery. So it's about people paying, it's about people taking ownership, it's about people taking responsibility and saying we want our services to continue, so we will continue paying our municipal bills. We have been doing summons, we have been doing engagements with the people, and at one time we had a promotion to encourage people to pay, but the debt has remained high. So we are saying people should pay up so that we are able to provide them with the services that they require.
Now, the late Zim dancehall artist Soldier Love's family has accepted the Liberation Hero status he was conferred this morning. The Soldier Love, whose real name is Sol Musaka, died on Tuesday at a private health facility in Harare. A family spokesperson, Solomon Musaka, speaks.
Angawe Magala, even Zimbo Zake, he was very nationalistic and patriotic. Angasanganyombe Nika, Angasanganyombe leadership Nika. So this is really a befitting send-off to the young men from the government. And we are very, very delighted. We really don't know how to thank the leadership. But Isusu as a family, honestly, we are, yes, we have lost a son, but we draw comfort from receiving such an honor.
Now, earlier, ZANU-PF Director for Information Tafadzo Mugwadi said the artist was conferred with the hero status in recognition of the impact he had on the country's youths.
A provincial hero. It is a befitting status that we as the young people take pride in, and it is in recognition of his unwavering revolutionary stance as reflected in his music. We want to salute the young people that gave him support during his, short-lived but eventful life, and we hope that a lot of young people are going to emulate his works. Soldier Love was a dedicated young person who was very patriotic, and there is no apology in this declaration.
Now, they were at one point Zimbabwe's most talked about celebrity couple, the country's equivalent of Beyonce and Jay-Z. The Soldier Love and Bounty Lisa were not a criminal couple like Bonnie and Clyde, but their bond measured up to the latter's. Maybe our own Romeo and Juliet, or perhaps closer home, they were Solo Namutsai kind of couple. But as fate was to have it, they went their separate ways. Their turbulent relationship was highly publicized. Soldier Love passed away on Tuesday, and Lisa feels he took with him a part of her. Our correspondent Wilson Kakurira caught up with Bounty Lisa, who reflected on a relationship with the late dancehall superstar.
Zvinhu zvinorwadza semunhu wanga wazivana naye kwenguva yakareba. Chigara mese zuva nezuva, dzimwe nguva kutosheyana toothbrush kana tauro chaiyo chaiyo. Saka zvinhu zvinonetsa kuti uzotambira kuti zveshuwa munhu akusisina. And ndisingataurire pakuti munhu wanda anga ari pamwoyo pangu, but ndichitaurawo sefellow artist wake. Zvinhu zvekuti tinge tarasikirwawo mumusic industry yedu neicon wedu. Vanhu vakawanda taimutarisa, ndiye munhu wataitarisawo. Vakawanda maupcoming artists vaitarisawo kwaari. Saka izvozvo vanhu vakawanda varasikirwa handisini nechete, but kusanganisira Zimbabwe yese, kubvira kuvaimbi, mafans ake, family yake, hama dzake, mafriends ake, kusanganisira tata nenguva asina kutaura. Kubva patakasiyana tinongobvira tazunguta communication tese, and papa tokwana 3 years. Ndichadzokera zvangu for the sake of him, kuti kufanira kuramba achita carry on nezvinhu zvaakatangawo. ndo yanga iri siwo yake music, saka tichifanira kuramba tichisimudzirawo kuitirawo iyo. I think relationship yedu was more private than it was public. Zvaingoonekwawo nevanhu zvezviya zvazvitori zvishoma zvaitofunga vanhu kuti maybe ndizvo zvese zvikutoitika izvozvi, vanozotoonawo holding hands tiri pastage, vanhu vakafunga ndo life yataitorarama iyo, but pane zvimwe zvakawanda zvaitoitikawo in private chatodzokawo kunze tisitori pabasa zvakawanda kudarika zvaionekwa nevanhu. So I think zvese izvozvo zvazvingoro between ini naye zvangosarirawo mupfungwa dzangu. Chandokwanisa ndekuti chakaitika ndiMwari. Mwari ndiye anosanganisa vanhu, ndiye anoparadzanisa kuti vanhu. Saka kazhinji zvezvinozoitika chiita kugonerana kana kukanganisirana, asi Mwari anozopa kutonga kwake kwekupedzisira pacho.
The COVID funeral plan from Doves. This policy covers death from COVID-19 or COVID-19 related funerals. The Doves COVID funeral plan is effective immediately with no waiting period. For more information, please contact 0731 772 784, 0731 772 782, WhatsApp 0731 750 989, email callcenter@doves.co.zw. Visit our website www.doves.co.zw or visit the Doves Holdings Facebook page. Doves, for the ones you love.
Now in Africa and world news, heavy rains have marooned about 27,000 people in Mozambique's Bowane district, about 30 kilometers south of the country's capital, Maputo, since last week. The Limpopo River, which runs through the country, has for 3 weeks experienced high water levels, causing floods. Mozambique is facing the rainy and cyclone season, which runs from October to April. And the man alleged to have brutally assaulted South African Broadcasting Corporation Current Affairs presenter Dimakatso Ratselane has been arrested. The suspect was arrested south of Johannesburg after he had been on the run since the incident last week. He's expected to appear in court on Thursday. Ratselane was severely attacked last Wednesday and was admitted to hospital in Bloemfontein with multiple stab wounds. Her condition is improving and she is now able to speak. Facebook has blocked Australian users from sharing or viewing news content on the platform, causing much alarm over public access to key information. It comes in response to a proposed law which makes tech giants pay for news content on their platforms. Australians on Thursday woke up to find that Facebook pages of all local and global news sites were unavailable. And up next is sports news.
Did you know that you can now get Dove's funeral cover from the comfort of your home? Simply visit our social media platforms, Facebook page, Doves Holdings. Visit our website, www.doves.co.zw. Email callcenter@doves.co.zw. So get your Doves funeral cover from anywhere you are, with no hustles and no need to travel. Only with Doves. Doves, for the ones you love.
Now, footballers in Zimbabwe have of late been pushing for the return of the game in the country. This comes after the Zimbabwe Football Association failed to arrange for the return of the game, despite getting COVID-19 relief funds from FIFA. Now, fears are the country could go for another year without football. We now cross over to the ZTN newsroom to hear from Mugobe Chigada about the issue. Now, Mugobe, how feasible is it for football to restart in the country, particularly the Premier League, the Premier Soccer League?
In the short term, certainly no. You look at some of the arguments that have been put across by footballers that are pushing for the return of football in Zimbabwe. You realize that they are noting that a number of leagues across Africa have started in their respective countries. What must be understood is that the African countries, the different African countries, have got different policy frameworks in terms of how they have reacted to the COVID-19 pandemic. A very good example is Tanzania. Their authorities are saying their populace are free of COVID-19, and they've even rejected the vaccines that they've been offered. You look at a country like South Africa, which is more or less like Zimbabwe. They've got a very strong PSO in terms of sponsorship that are in place. They've got a television deal, and then you look at our own PSO. They don't have an existing television deal to actually lure sponsors for visibility purposes. So we are talking about a situation whereby the PSO clubs will ask, are they able to afford the PCR test? Are the stadium owners able to actually maintain the stadiums? There are a lot of questions that have to be asked before we can talk about the feasibility of football returning in Zimbabwe.
Now, Mugobe, the footballers have been pushing and they've explained the pain of going through, well, another year, possible year without football. What has been the reaction of the PSL?
Frankly speaking, PSO have not committed to anything in as far as the return of football in Zimbabwe is concerned, unlike ZIFA, who promised the heaven on earth last year before they failed to implement their plans. PSO have rather been able to keep their plans to themselves, apart from that leaked document which was about abandoning the bio-bubble concept and taking the route of vaccines. There is very little that we can talk about. Then if you are to look about the issue of the vaccine route, we understand there are mixed feelings amongst the PSO officials. We understand it is on record, according to FIFA principles, that vaccines be a priority of the vulnerables. So the biggest question is football that is essential to be able to be included in the vaccination policies that are ongoing.
And now, what do you think could be the solution for the PSL to eventually pave way for the other lower leagues, Mugobe?
It is definitely complex, but there are two issues that PSO and ZIFA must certainly look into. There is the issue of engaging government to ensure that whatever plans they have on the ground fits into the existing government policy. Remember, we're still on lockdown as a country. Then there is the second issue of sponsorship. Apart from the television deal that we understand PSO are trying to come up with to ensure that there is visibility for the sponsors, there could be other ways, and one of those solutions is the issue of tax rebates. There is need for ZIFA and PSO to collectively lobby for a policy that ensures that there is a special rebate for a sponsor that comes on board to sponsor football. But then again, there are a lot of questions surrounding that. Is football that very special? Is it very essential to be able to get that special treatment at a time when the country is trying to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic? It's really a decision of life and death. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be very easy for PSO and ZIFA, but it is a route that they must try to negotiate and find ways of bringing the game of football back in the country.
Thanks very much, Mugobe, for that detailed analysis. And moving on to cricket, the Zimbabwe cricket team players and technical staff were today tested for COVID-19 ahead of departure to the UAE. Zimbabwe leaves for Abu Dhabi tomorrow, where they will play 2 tests and 3 T20 internationals against Afghanistan. The first test starts on the 2nd of March. The other test starts on the 10th of March before the T20 internationals from the 17th of March. Now, Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola insists his side is not thinking about the Premier League crown. The City beat Everton last night to go 10 points clear of Manchester United and Leicester at the top of the table. The victory ensured the City are the first team to win in their opening 10 games of a calendar year. Guardiola's side has now won 17 games in a row in all competitions. Wow, what a feat. And in the other Premier League match played last night, Burnley drew 1-1 at home against Fulham. And this season's Champions League final is reportedly set to be played in front of thousands of fans. In a report by Sportsmail, talks are at an advanced stage for about 30 to 50% of Istanbul's Atatürk Olympic Stadium to be occupied for the May 29 final. Meanwhile, in UEFA Champions League matches played yesterday, FC Porto beat Juventus 2-1, while Dortmund won 3-2 away to Sevilla. And in tennis, after losing her Australian Open semi-final clash to Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams gave the crowd a long goodbye. Her hand was on her heart. Was that a sign or message? Well, Williams said she doesn't know if she will ever say goodbye and that she wouldn't tell anyone. She then exited the post-match press conference in tears. When asked about unforced errors which contributed to her loss, she said she doesn't know and that she is done. Meanwhile, Osaka will play Jennifer Brady in Saturday's final after the American beat Karolina Mukova. And the top seed Novak Djokovic beat Aslan Karatsev to reach the Australian Open final for the 9th time. The world number one has been struggling with a stomach injury in the tournament but showed no signs of illness as he dispatched a spirited Karatsev. Now the Serbian recorded a 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 straight sets win. He will face Daniil Medvedev or Stefanos Tsitsipas in Sunday's final. And that's the latest on News Blitz. Remember to connect with us on our social media platforms, Twitter at ZTN_news, Facebook, Zim Papers TV Network, Instagram at ZTN. Also remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, ZTN. And of course, you can also visit our website, ztn.co.zw for links to our various platforms and of course, more updates. Good afternoon.